Email can be sent directly from one computer to another, or it can be sent via a website through an actual MX mail server on a website referred to as Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP. Sending email directly is much more likely to get a message flagged as spam because it's impossible to set up security protocols. The security protocols that keep your inbox free of spam are domain keys, SPF records, and reverse DNS. SPF was implemented 2005 and 2006 and was widely in use at all times relevant to this case. Domain keys were published in May of 2007 and were in use at all times relevant to this case. And lastly, reverse DNS has to be set up properly and was in use in 2007 and at all times relevant to this case. To set up a legitimate domain to send email, you first get your domain hosted by an internet service provider or ISP. The ISP will have domain name servers or DNS servers. First, they need to set up the MX or mail exchanger record on their DNS servers. This is how the mail is actually sent. The SPF record also resides on your host DNS server. This is an example of an SPF record. Next, one half of the domain key is set up on the DNS server. This is the public key. And the private domain key is located on the same server that hosts your website. So to set a legitimate sender, obviously you need access to the computer the mail is being sent from. But also you need access to the hosting company's router to set reverse DNS and PTR records, access to the hosting company's DNS servers to set the domain keys and SPF, and access to the website server itself to host the public domain key. These are all different individual computers or servers with different usernames and passwords. Hacking all of these different computers and then basically guessing the domain keys and SPF records is impossible. This is why spam filters are so effective. This is why large ISPs such as AOL, Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail get virtually no spam in their inboxes. This video is going to show you how a spam filter works, specifically Spam Assassin, but most spam filters work in a similar manner. Spam Assassin is an open source, free to use spam filter that comes with web hosting. It checks roughly 800 different parts of an email to determine whether or not it's spam. As you can see from these time-lapse videos, spam filters work very well. Spam almost never goes into the inbox. These are approximately 10 hours of a Gmail account, a Yahoo account, and a Mail.com account. If you notice on the left-hand side, there is the inbox, and only legitimate mail that I have a relationship with goes into the inbox. The spam box is on the right, and only spam goes into the right. Computers on the internet communicate through what is called an Internet Protocol address, or an IP address. So part of the spam filter checks the block list to see if the IP has sent spam before in the past. Your IP address is unique, and it is impossible to fake, so if it has been sending spam, it's going to show up on a block list. Here's an example of a spam block list. IPs then also have a reputation. So your reputation can be good, poor, or non-existent, depending on the emails that you've sent. This is another factor that is checked by spam filters. Large web-based email providers like Yahoo, AOL, and Gmail also count the number of bad addresses on your mailing list. If you have too many bounced email addresses on your mailing list, you will get flagged as spam. So your list needs to be cleaned of any old and invalid email addresses or bounced emails. This indicates that you have an old, out-of-date list and could be that you're a spammer rather than a legitimate emailer. Most internet service providers do not allow any bulk email of any sort to be sent from their network, even if it's opt-in. This is very familiar with an apartment not allowing pets. This is called an acceptable use policy. So if your business involves sending a large customer database of email addresses, you will most likely have to hire an outside company to help send these emails. MailChimp is a company that does this. MailChimp claims on their website they help 500,000 customers send 40 million emails a day. Legal, opt-in, CAN-SPAM compliant emails that generate between 0.02% and 0.12% spam complaints. That is between 8,000 and 48,000 spam complaints daily on legitimate opt-in email lists. One way users complain about spam is by pressing the spam button. By pressing the spam button, you initiate what is called a feedback loop, and an email of the spam complaint is sent to the ISP that owns the particular IP address that is being accused of spamming. Spamming is against the acceptable use policies of all ISPs, so numerous spam complaints will result in the disconnection of your internet service. Now, the last part of the spam filter is the text of the message. Words like list removal information, claims of compliance with Senate Bill 1618, the word opt-in, claims you opted in or registered, the SEC mandated penny stock warning, information on mortgages, or online pharmacy. All of these things and many others can flag your message as spam. Microsoft reported that 97% of all emails was spam, but very little of it even makes it in the spam bin. Over 95% of spam email is just blocked by the ISP and doesn't even hit your inbox or spam bin. It is also impossible to put bulk email from a hijacked IP with no reverse DNS, no SPF, and no domain keys with a marketing message in the inbox of any of the large ISPs.